Underground facilities, UGFs. CIG recently debuted these on Star Citizen. Not Star Citizen Live, but inside Star Citizen. And I have to say, I was really impressed with what I saw. There was a lot of really cool stuff there. For those of you who are like myself, who love running caves and bunkers, I have had some complaints. The bunkers were too small and somewhat problematic, but there was other larger game circumstances that were making them kind of troubling, and I've detailed those in videos before. Enemies just emptying magazine after magazine after magazine into them, and then they just turn around and shoot you, and they one-shot you, and you realize that, oh, it wasn't actually the game breaking. It was just like just a total disconnect between what you were seeing on your screen and what was happening on the server, perhaps. But there have been a lot of challenges with a lot of this stuff. But it seems like with the new UGFs, CIG is kind of moving away from the old single path in and out, with which you had certainly with the old bunkers and with the caves, and now moving to a much more open-ended way of kind of looking into these facilities. And of course, I am looking at this from the perspective of course, there's going to be like a trading hub there, and for people who want to do mining or whatnot. But it's obvious that they're also set up to be used for combat missions, right? That is also, something that is easily visible as being on the table for this. And so I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful for this. I hope it does make it into the game fairly soon. I think it's a good idea. And I'm very initially quite happy with it. Some minor things that I would suggest. I like the idea of the underground portion being kind of like procedurally generated, so that not every facility has the same layout, but at the same time, what's above the ground, I hope that that's not always going to work to the same pattern, that is also going to have some kind of procedural generation there. That was one of the things that kind of concerned me. And also, hopefully with, not just multiple entrances into the different rooms, but with obviously these docking bays visible here, that there's going to be multiple ways to get down into the facility. Because obviously what they're showing you in the video is they're giving you the grand tour. But you can see how kind of walking through that environment could get kind of repetitive after a while. And that's one of my kind of pet peeves with a lot of the landing environments in Star Citizen, which is that there's a lot of expansive, look and see, just drink it all in, look at all the detail, all the little funny little places that you can look and go and interact with things. But the truth of it is that after about the 10th or 15th time, it kind of loses its luster, right? And by the 1,000th time, if you're a dedicated long-term game player such as myself, it just becomes a hassle, right? So hopefully some of that will be kind of taken into account when we get the final version of this. And so along with multiple places to land, you'll have, multiple ways to just kind of get to whatever you need to get to in there without necessarily having to go on the large and expansive tour that unfortunately dominates a lot of the larger landing areas like Area 18, Lorville, and New Babbage. Now, there's one other thing that I would like to kind of talk about, which is, of course, you look at these things, you see the people talking about it, and one of the immediate questions is, can we own one? Can we buy a UGF? And if so, how much? As people start pulling out their wallets. I kind of hope that we don't. I hope that we don't get this as a player-owned structure. I have no problem with us competing over it militarily, but you have to understand that Star Citizen draws a lot of its inspiration, especially for the on-foot mechanics, from survival games. You know, Valheim was mentioned recently. I've used Conan Exiles as an example, but one of the great things about survival games is the act of building your own base. This has always been one of my most beloved features in survival games. The idea of building your own fortress to give players a tool set and a tile set and say, go nuts. This is one of the best things about survival games, and I hope that that is what materializes in Star Citizen. Now, whether we're allowed to build structures underground, into asteroids or whatnot, I would love all of that, but even if we're left with the structures that can just be deployed on the surface that we've seen for so long, I hope it's not the ones that, you know, the earliest kind of landing sites. I hope it's something closer to this, but not quite being, you know, these UGFs. But I think that whatever system they do choose to use, whether it's something as big and as expansive as this UGF or something as limited as, you know, these kind of like portable stations that kind of get dropped on the surface of moons that we've had for so long, I kind of hope that it isn't just like a fixture that is generated into the game by the game itself, and rather something that allows the player to kind of express their own creativity or their own kind of strategic thinking. Like if I put this hallway here and then I cross the T with this hallway there, then I create a natural choke point. If you want to come to this more valuable storage area, you got to get through here, and this is where I can kind of build my defense, or where me and my friends can defend it. That sort of thing. I would like to see a base building system in game that kind of fosters that strategic thinking, and also fosters player creativity and artistic license. So yeah, I mean, if we're going to take cues from survival games like Valheim and whatnot, then hopefully base construction and a robust tool set. And who knows, maybe we can get to the point where a UGF and the entire underground tunnel network that comes with it isn't procedurally generated, or if you can set that up as a player, or more likely as an org, that you can take away that procedural generation part and then build something entirely out of your own imagination. I think that would be the ultimate version of this. It's cool. It's a great feature. I hope to see more of it soon. A lot of the landing sites that we see in Star Citizen have not made sense to me, but I mean, I kind of understood that they were just kind of playing with the limited tools that they had, and they did fairly well with them. But yeah, if this is going to be something that even players can own in the future, I hope it's something that players can build in their own way, especially if you have like a long ass elevator like this. It'd be kind of cool if you could build something like this into an asteroid or something like that. That would be the ultimate version of it for me. I would love to have just a random asteroid out there floating out in the outskirts of the Stanton system or something like that, where I could build even a smaller version of like the old asteroid hangar into it and park my ships there and have that just be my spot in the game. That would be awesome. So who knows? We'll see what materializes, because often we see videos like this and we go, oh, this is cool, this is great, when is this coming to the game? And you know, when is a dirty word when we're talking about Star Citizen. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. use it.